Hello there, Patrick here, and now we're going to see something that is very, very important for any EAP student, for any student that is going to study at university. Okay? And what we're going to be looking at now is how to write an essay. Now, we have several kinds of essays. We have what we're going to be looking at now, which is explanatory essay. We have argumentative essay. We have descriptive essay. We have several kinds of essays. But today, we're going to see the explanatory essay. Okay, now most essays have similar structure, a similar structure. The structure is very similar, okay? And if you see what's on my screen now, you can see that you have five steps that you have to take to write an explanatory essay. All right? And the very first step is basically RRR. What does that mean? That means research, read, and reflect. Research, read, and reflect. Reflect means think, analyze. Analyze. You know what analyze is? Analyze. Analyze information. So, when you write an explanatory essay, you need to explain a process or explain a topic, explain to the reader about the topic. You should not take sides. You are not expressing your own opinion about anything. It is not your argument. It is not your opinion. It's simply a topic that you have done research on and you are writing about to inform, to tell the reader about the topic. So you are like the messenger. You are a person who has done reading. You've done your reading. You've done your research. You've learned about a topic. And now you want to present. You want to present the facts. And the word facts is very important. Facts. They're not emotions. They're not strong opinions about anything. They are purely facts. Simply facts. So your job when you write an explanatory essay, your job is to find out the facts and then express those facts to somebody else. Write about those facts. So your first step, the very first step that you do is you do a lot of research. You read a lot of materials and you think about this material. You think about the topic, you analyze it, and then you write your essay. But the first step, remember, RRR, research, read, reflect. Now, the second step, you can see this on the screen. We have like a human body. You have the head being an intro. Intro is an introduction. Introduction. That means you introduce the topic. People don't know what you're going to be writing about. Your job is to write an introduction to tell people what the topic is going to be about. So you have introduction, and we're going to talk about how to write an introduction later. But now I want to take you through the general procedure of writing an essay. So you are researching, reading, and reflecting. you are writing your introduction, and then you are writing your body. The body is the biggest part of the essay. That's the largest portion of your essay. That's where you present your facts. That's where you show what you know about a certain topic. So, once you write your body, you move on to conclusion. And when you do your conclusion, that means you are finishing up your essay. You are finishing up your writing. And conclusion, that can be a summary. We can talk about that a little later. We're going to go through each section separately. Okay? But after you finish writing your conclusion, there's one last step that is extremely important, very important, and that's checking your writing, proofreading your writing. What does that mean? When you proofread your writing, you are checking if you made any mistakes, any typos, any grammar mistakes, any spelling mistakes, any phrase or sentence that was not written very well. Then that's a good time to actually change it, to rewrite it. Maybe one of the arguments does not sound very good. There's time to change that argument and replace it with another argument. So proofreading is a very important process before you submit your essay. If you can ask one of your friends to read it, a family member to read it, anybody that is willing to help you out, take a look at your writing and give you some comments, give you some advice or some comments, would be great. Okay? But the important thing is that you don't submit your essay before you proofread your essay, to make sure that you don't have a lot of mistakes there. All right? So, we want to go through the process of writing an explanatory essay. Remember, most essays have the same structure. They all need some research in the beginning, some reading about the topic. You need to write your introduction, then you move on to your body, and then conclusion, and then you proofread it. So all essays have the same structure. But now, today, we're going to look at the explanatory essay, okay, which is different from the argumentative essay or other kinds of essays. All right, let's go through the process. Okay, so the expository essay is same as the explanatory essay. They are the same thing. Okay, expository comes from the verb expose. Expose, that means you reveal, you show the facts, you show the information to the reader. Okay? All right, so the expository essay or the explanatory essay, as I said before, the main reason you write an expository essay or explanatory essay is to report to the reader about a topic, on a topic that you have learned about. You can be reporting about an event or a situation or anything else. It can be anything at all. Anything that has facts, information that the reader might want to know about, right? And you are not required, you don't need to express your own opinion about the subject. You don't have to. You should not feel strongly about the subject. And even if you feel strongly about it, you are not supposed to show it in your writing. So when you write you should never use I or you. You can use he or she or they, but never use I or you. Because if you use I or you, that means you are emotionally engaged. You are too emotionally connected. You are emotionally connected to the topic. And that's what you want to avoid. You don't want that because um, somebody who writes an explanatory or expository essay is somebody neutral. Neutral. What does that mean? Neutral. 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 What does that mean? What does that word mean? Neutral. A neutral person is a person who does not have a strong opinion about a situation. You are neutral. You are in the middle. You are not on the right. You are not on the left. You are just neutral. You are not biased. B-I-A-S-E-D. B-I-A-S-E-D. Biased. If you are biased, you cannot think clearly. That means when you write, you're writing because you have strong feelings about something. You cannot be fair. You cannot be fair. F-A-I-R. F-A-I-R. You cannot be fair. You cannot be neutral. And you cannot be unbiased. You are biased. And if you are biased, you cannot write a good explanatory or expository essay. You have to learn to stick to the facts, not talk through your emotions. Okay? So, your job is to shed light, put the light on the topic, and show everybody what information is important about this topic. And you have to show the arguments about those facts. And that's your job. So, the main thing that you need to do, the first thing you need to do, is you need to read a lot about the topic so you can gather a lot of facts, gather a lot of information about it. Then you can see multiple sides, different opinions, and then you present all those different opinions in your essay. Okay, so that's one of the main things you have to do at the beginning of the essay. You need to understand all that very well. Okay? Okay, next. So we're going to start with the paragraph, with the first introductory paragraph. That means introduction. Remember, it's the head. That's the head of your essay. Now, the best thing to start your introduction is to start with something we call grabber. What does that mean, grabber? Well, a grabber, that means grab. If something grabs you, that means you have to pay attention, right? If something grabs you, that means catches your attention. Aha! Catch your attention. You need to catch the reader's attention. If you are writing a very boring introduction, nobody's going to read the essay because it's boring. But if you start your introduction with a grabber, that means you have opened your essay in a very interesting way. Okay? So, what techniques, what can you use, what can you do to make your grabber work? How do you get your grabber to work? What could be a grabber? Well, quotations. Now, quotations are very good. Quotations are when you quote somebody else. Now, When I quote somebody else, I will tell you what somebody else said. I didn't say it. Somebody else said it. And that somebody else is an expert at that topic. That expert in the topic, for example, if I want to write about economy, if I want to write about economy and I am going to give you a quote, I want to quote somebody who knows a lot about economy, maybe a famous economist, right? I'm not going to quote just anybody. I'm going to quote somebody who knows a lot about the topic because they are credible. They are credible. People believe them because they know a lot about the topic. So quotations usually are between quotation marks. You cannot write a quotation and say you wrote it. No, you cannot do that. If you do that, that means you are plagiarizing. That means you are stealing ideas. You're stealing somebody's words and somebody's ideas. You cannot do that. If you decide to quote somebody, you have to give that person credit. You have to say, I am not the person saying this idea. I was not the person who created the idea. Somebody else did. And I'm going to quote them. I'm going to show you what they said. So quotation is a very good way to grab people's attention. Let's see another way to grab people's attention. And before I do that, I'm going to give you an example of a quotation. For example, Rebecca Eckler told a Canadian journalist that the pain and unpredictability of giving birth terrified her, and so she decided she would go to extreme lengths, if need be, to have a planned C-section. Okay, now, Rebecca Eckler is somebody who people believe because she has had the experience of going through the process, right? So that's why people believe her and will respect her. They will take her opinion seriously because she has been through it. She has experience. She has direct experience with the topic. It's not just anybody. We're not quoting anybody. And you can see that there is quotation marks before the pain and after C-section. So that means the pain and unpredictability of giving birth terrified her, and so she decided she would go to extreme lengths, if need be, to have a planned C-section. She said that. Rebecca Eckler, she said that. Those were her words. Okay. The second technique, how we grab the reader's attention in our introduction, is definitions. Now, what does that mean, definitions? Well, when you come across a word that you don't know in the dictionary, what do? You open your dictionary and you look up a definition. You want to know what that word means. So you look up the definition of the word. If I give you a word that is so hard to understand, you're going to open a dictionary up and you're going to look it up in the dictionary. So that's a definition. Definition is sometimes very important. If the subject is a bit complex, if the subject has words that are hard to understand, it's good to define the subject first so people understand what they're reading about. So definitions could be very good, and I'll give you an example of that. A cesarean section is a surgical incision of the walls of the abdomen and uterus for delivery of offspring. So I'm defining what cesarean section is. Maybe some people don't know what that is. Some people have no idea what that term means. So I'm defining that expression so people can understand what the topic of the essay is all about. So that's another technique to grab people's attention. What is the third technique? Facts. Facts. Facts are powerful. Facts don't lie. Facts are facts. If I give you a fact, you cannot tell me, no, I disagree with you. You cannot disagree with me when I give you facts, unless you have other facts. So if I have facts, and we are talking, we are arguing and talking or debating, and if I give you a fact, the only way to come back at me is to give me another fact that proves me that I'm wrong. If I give you a fact and you have no facts, you lose the debate. You lose in the conversation. So, facts are very important. For example, a fact can be, Dr. Jan Christelaw reports that there has been a jump of almost 3% in the rate of cesarean births in industrialized societies. Now, that's a fact. And how do you know it's a fact? Well, I can see a percentage, almost 3% in the rate of cesarean births in industrialized societies. That means somebody conducted research and somebody found 3% in the rate of cesarean births. So that means it's scientific, it's a fact, and it's very hard to dispute facts. Like I said, you have to have your own facts if you want to win a debate, for example, where people are presenting different opinions or different facts. Okay? All right. Let's look at the next section. So basically now, this is the most important part. This is the most important part of the whole essay. And it has a name. It's called Thesis Statement. Thesis Statement. The thesis statement is the topic of the essay. It is the question that you're trying to answer. It is the idea, the main idea that you're trying to research and gather facts about. Okay? So, the main idea of the essay, that's the thesis statement of the essay. And here's an example. There are 3 main reasons why more and more women are choosing the cesarean operation for delivering babies. Fear of pain, predictability, and misinformation on the risks related to the procedure. Okay, so now my thesis statement is, there are 3 main reasons why more and more women are choosing the cesarean operation for delivering babies. And there are 3 reasons. And I gave you those 3 reasons. And that's the main idea of my topic. That's the main topic of my essay. That's the main question, and that's what I want to read about. That's what I want to research about, and that's what I'm going to get the facts on. I'm going to get more information about those ideas. I'm going to give you more information about fear of pain. I'm going to give you more information about predictability and misinformation. I'm going to give you more information about the misinformation on the risks related to procedure. I'm going to give you more information about each one of those things that are mentioned in the thesis statement. And then I'm going to back them up, support them with facts. Because again, without facts, you have no argument. Your argument is weak, not strong. Okay? All right. So now I want to move on to the body paragraph. And the body paragraph is going to have Traditionally, when I say traditionally, that means normally, usually. It has 3 paragraphs. Okay? 3 paragraphs. So, the second, the third, and the fourth paragraph usually make up the body of the essay. First, the introduction. That's the first paragraph. Remember, the introduction has the grabber. So it's a sentence that you open your essay with, that you grab people's attention by, and then you say your thesis statement. That's in the introduction. And then you move on to the body. And the body has to have 3 paragraphs. The second, third, and the fourth. And that's going to be the body of your essay. The first sentence of each of the 3 body paragraphs, we call them topic sentence. Topic sentence. Why? Because they are the main ideas of the paragraphs. So every paragraph has to start with one main topic sentence. And then you have to support that with something called evidence. Evidence. So you cannot just say any sentence you want and say, well, I said so. Nobody else said. I said so. That's my opinion. I said so. No, those are not facts. You need to write your topic sentence, but you need to back it up. Back it up. That means supported. Supported with evidence. Evidence is always based on facts. Okay? So, I'm going to show you an example. Topic sentence. One of the main reasons why women are drawn to delivering babies through a C-section procedure is due to their deep fear of labor pain. So, basically, the first topic sentence, it shows you the main argument, which is fear of pain. Remember? We saw that in the introduction. Fear of pain is one of the main reasons. So one of the main reasons why women are drawn to delivering babies through a C-section procedure is due to their deep fear of labor pain. So that's your topic sentence. Now I need to support that with evidence. It is not enough to say, one of the main reasons why women are drawn to delivering babies through a C-section procedure is due to their deep fear of labor pain, and that's it. That's not enough. Nobody is going to take you seriously if you do that. No. We need to give facts to support this idea right now. So, how do we do that? How do we provide evidence? What is evidence? Let me just explain the word evidence. I told you before that the word evidence is based on facts. And if you know the word evidence, you know about law. You know, when you have a lawyer, if you have a criminal, a bad person that has to go to jail, but then they pay money to a lawyer, and the lawyer needs to defend the criminal in the court. Okay? If the lawyer has evidence to show the judge, so he will have or she will have evidence to show to the judge to say, no, the criminal is not a criminal. He's innocent. He didn't do anything. And that's the proof. That's the evidence. Those are the facts. So the evidence is very important. It's factual. It's based on facts. And how do we do that? when we write an essay, we use statistics, statistics, statistics. It's very hard to say, right? Statistics. And what are statistics? Statistics are numbers. For example, 30%, 40%, 50%, half of the population believe something, one quarter or one third, etc., etc., etc. Statistics, we call them stats. The numbers, the figures, they're very important. They don't lie. They are based on science. Okay? So, for example, studies show that around 35% of women choose to have a cesarean operation to avoid any type of pain associated with labor. Oh, so now it's not only an opinion anymore. It is not only an opinion anymore, it's also supported by key figures. Okay? Which is 35%. And studies show. That means somebody studied the topic. And the studies show that around 35% of women choose to have a cesarean operation to avoid any type of pain associated with labor. Now, when people write studies, they usually conduct interviews or surveys or questionnaires. That is something you might have to do at university. All right? That's when you prepare a survey and you get out there, you give the survey to people, and you ask people to answer the questions of the survey or the questionnaire. And then you have to gather information this way, and you have statistics, you have figures. And that's what statistics are. Okay? The second way to give evidence is expert opinion. We talked about that before, right? If you want to write about cancer, right, which is a very horrible problem. It's a very big health problem, all right? People get cancer, they die. Sometimes they are not treated. They cannot be treated well. There's no cure. But if you want to write about cancer, you need to ask experts, the experts, about what they think, what they have found in their studies about cancer. Otherwise, nobody's going to believe you because you are not a doctor. You are not a doctor. You are not specialist in cancer studies. You're not. You're just a person who's writing an essay. So your job is to go find somebody who is an expert and get their opinions about the subject. So when you read research and you read a lot of books, you need to find expert people about the topic. If you are writing about cancer, well, they have to be experts at that. If you are talking about language, you need to find somebody that knows a lot about language, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So that's number 2 evidence you can provide. And here's an example of expert opinion. Dr. Walker says that a great number of my patients are extremely afraid of not being able to cope with the pain experienced when giving birth naturally. So now it's not only my opinion that I'm saying, well, 35% of women are afraid of the pain. No, it's actually Dr. Walker's opinion. Dr. Walker's opinion is much more believable. We say credible. C-R-E-D-I-B-L-E. C-R-E-D-I-B-L-E. Credible. That means people believe him. They believe him because he's a doctor. He's an expert. So whatever he says, they will actually respect it and believe it. All right? Okay, next. So the third type of evidence is to give an example. An example is Dr. Christolaw reports that one of her patients delivered all of her 4 children by C-section, even though she was repeatedly informed of the risks of the operation and that she was perfectly able to deliver her baby naturally. So now I'm giving you an example of what my argument is. That's just an example. And examples are good because they are from real life situations, right? So we are talking about a patient that has actually been through the process. Okay? All right. Let's move on. So, okay. Now we have reached the last stage of the essay, that is conclusion. We talked about the introduction, and we said that the introduction has to have a grabber and the thesis statement. We talked about the body of the essay having 3 paragraphs. Every paragraph starts with a topic sentence supported by evidence. We said that the evidence could be statistics or quotations or examples, right? And now we are talking about conclusion. That is the final paragraph or the 5th paragraph. We call it conclusion because we need to conclude. We need to finish writing the essay. And the conclusion typically, most of the times, starts with a transition term. A transition term, that means it's a term that we use to go from one stage to another, to move from the body of the essay to the conclusion of the essay. We call that transition term. So in summary, to conclude, and then so we do that, and then we summarize the thesis statement and we summarize the 3 arguments of the essay in an interesting way. Of course, you don't want to repeat the same words that you had in your body of the essay. No, you need to find a way to summarize or paraphrase or reword it. Choose different words to summarize the 3 paragraphs. So that's a very important thing when it comes to academic writing. Okay, your ability to rephrase, not use the same words. If you use the same words, people get bored. It's not very interesting to use the same words. You have to talk about the same idea. You have to write about the same idea, but you have to use different words. This way, your writing is much more engaging and much more interesting. Okay? All right. I want to repeat what I said before in the beginning of the video. Never, ever, never, ever use you or we or my or your or I or our in your explanatory or expository essay. Never ever. Because if you do that, people will not take your work seriously. Okay? That's the last thing you want to do. Okay? So avoid using those terms. Avoid using those words, those pronouns, and try to use the third person, which means he or she or they. That's better when you write an essay to follow that strategy. Okay, so I believe that you have, a writing task at the end of the week. So I would like you to start preparing for your writing, for your essay. And the best way to start preparing is to watch this video maybe even several times. And remember the structure of the essay. We did outline the different sections of the essay. We did say that your essay has to start with an introduction. That's the head of the essay. Then you have the body that has 3 paragraphs, and then you have the conclusion. So, as I said before, that's your structure, as you can see on the screen. Remember that. Use this as a template, all right, for you to know how to start. First, you have your introduction. So your introduction has a grabber and a thesis statement. And remember, your thesis statement is the most important part of the essay. Now, most of the times, you are going to have the topic assigned to you by your teacher. If your teacher does not give you a topic, that means you need to find your own topic, which might be easier because you can choose something that you really want to write about, something you are excited about, something that you are motivated to write about, right? So then you have to do your own reading and you have to find your own topic. And whenever you find your topic, then you can start reading about your topic. Read, 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 read until you have a very good idea of the different aspects and the different ideas and different facts about it. And then when you're ready, you sit down and you start writing your introduction. Now, many people, they start writing the body of the essay and the conclusion of the essay before they write the introduction of the essay. It's up to you if you want to do that. It depends on how your brain is wired. Every person is different. There's no one way to do it, right? So there are many ways to do it, and you can do it in whichever way that makes you comfortable. But it would be a very good idea to start researching first. Read as much as you can. Research the topic. Choose a topic and form your thesis statement. Okay? And then that thesis statement will be your guide to write the rest of your essay. All right? So I hope that you've learned something today. I hope that this has been beneficial. I hope that I'm not talking too fast. I hope you can understand every word I say. And I believe that you will do great work. I think you're going to make us proud, and I'm really hoping that you'll start working hard on your essay. And we want to be surprised when we read those essays. I want to be surprised that this essay has the right format, the right layout, and the right structure. Okay? Now, of course, you're going to make mistakes. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's perfectly okay to make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, we cannot give you feedback. And if you don't get feedback, you never improve. That's what you have to understand about language. You being from China and like from many Asian countries, and not only Asian countries, many people are very shy and they don't want to make mistakes when they write or speak. But that's a big mistake itself. You cannot be afraid of making mistakes. You have to accept the fact that you are going to make mistakes. And only by making mistakes, you're going to improve. Okay? Because when you make a mistake, people give you feedback. And when you get feedback, you learn more and you improve yourself more. And that's how it should be. So do not be afraid, okay? Take a pen and a piece of paper, sit down, and start writing. And I hope that I'll enjoy reading your essays at the end of the week. Okay? Thank you very much, and have a great day.